Great, so hey everybody, today we're here with Paolo Barbieri, Master Sommelier.
Hello, how are you guys?
Welcome.
Very good to see you.
Grazie. Always good to see you, my friend. Paolo is of course from Rome, and we make wine together in Buellton. We share this beautiful winery facility where we're sitting today. And we're gonna chat about wine. We're gonna talk about perfection in wine. We're gonna talk about Paolo's vast, deep experience in the world of wine. And let's just jump off. We were talking about excellence before. What, in your mind, makes a perfect wine?
Well, I mean, beside the characteristic of the wine, in my opinion, what makes a wine great is a wine that gives you not only a physical pleasure, but also gives you somehow a mental pleasure. So when you drink the wine and you go back to the glass different times, you always get something more for the wine, and that's what makes to me a compelling wine.
It's got that X factor.
It's got X factor.
Special.
Sometimes, I mean, I had wines before where, I was thinking in my head, how the hell you make a wine this good? The wine that's so amazing. I had the opportunity, to drink some amazing wine, during all these years in the wine business, that sometimes it's like mind-boggling how somebody can make wine this good. So.
And that's the transition, isn't it? That's the goal that we're shooting for.
Yeah.
We're trying to achieve now as winemakers. Perfect wine. Do you think we'll ever make it?
I don't know. You have to always think that you can do better every year. So is the race for perfection. It starts and I don't think it ever ends.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it's an incredible life goal, though, to think about. Could we ever make the?
I don't know if there is winemaking skills, but also there is vineyards. As we know, the vineyards are very important.
Right.
We are here in Santa Barbara. We are in a new area, for wine. Started, 20, 30 years ago, but really the Santa Barbara area started in the last 15 years. There is a lot of new plantings still going on right now. So as an area, we don't have the history that you can get in Europe, like in Germany, Italy, Spain, and France. You know what I'm saying? So we still babies here, in terms of winemaking.
Tell me about some of the wines in your mind that have been perfect.
So, as we were talking before, there is some wines that I was lucky enough to have the opportunity, to work some, with very, very large wine list, the opportunity to taste wine from, colleagues and also, people that collect wines, and, some of the wines that come to mind, 92 Chateaubriand Blanc, 92 Domaine La Flève, Bâtard Montrachet, 96 and 99 Jean-François Coche-Dory Corton, Charlemagne, 75 Chateaubriand and La Mission Haut-Briand, both compelling wine from possibly a lesser vintage. The great 45s, especially Mouton, it was the first wine after the war, which I think they made an incredible job with the wine. Is drinking great, at least the last time I tasted was amazing. Some of the old wines from Italy, of course, 85 Sassicaia. If you had the chance to drink those wines, some of the Giacomo Monfortino. If you had the chance to taste those wines, as Barolo is concerned, some of the best. I tend to like the oldies, Rinaldi, Conterno, Bartolo Mascarello, the Mascarello wines. Both Bartolo and Giuseppe Mascarello make some of the most compelling wine in Italy.
Any stuff out of Friuli you like? In the Northeast?
I didn't have a lot of experience with all the wine, from Friuli. Obviously, the white wine Friuli are great. The Sauvignon Blanc especially, they do very well. Mm-hmm. Even some of the Chardonnay. There is a couple of people that they experimented with the with the reds, but
Yeah.
I didn't even taste anything that had 20 years or more as a bottle age. So no, the other wines that if you had the chance to taste the old Vega Sicilias, from the 60, the 62 was amazing. One of my favorite, the 68 and the 70s, those two wines are still amazing wines. I don't know if they're still holding, I haven't had it in a while, but I had plenty of those bottles when I was in Vegas. So
Such an amazing experience. So you worked for many years at the Bellagio?
I worked 7 years at Bellagio, 6 at the Wynn, and 3 at Cosmopolitan.
Yeah. So you were just tasting wines all the time.
I was pretty spoiled, I got to say.
Every day you got to taste incredible wines.
I was very spoiled. I have to say
awesome.
that. Now I'm not so spoiled anymore.
We're still spoiled.
After I moved in 2014, I decided to leave my job after 33 years and moved to Santa Barbara. Then I don't get the chance to taste obviously all those wines that I used to taste before. So
I'll bring you some.
I'll
taste them.
Greg is gonna help me out on that.
So going back, excellence in wines, that X factor, that striving toward perfection.
I mean, I think that in order to understand wine, you have to drink wine.
Perfect.
You cannot make an assumption of wine that is good if you didn't have the classic.
Yeah.
If you mix it up, then you have to taste the wine for the Northern Rhones. Understand what's a good wine tastes like, or a great wine tastes like. So it is to me is the most important thing as a consumer, as a winemaker, especially as a winemaker, because you need to have a reference point. If you don't have a reference point, then you can go out and say, hey, I make great wines. You have to go out and taste the great wines of the world, and then maybe comparison or striving to do something that is close to that. That's, I think, is everybody's goal. But definitely you gotta go out and taste wines.
It surprises me how few winemakers actually have deep tasting experience. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that go into the wine business, but don't really take the time to go and taste the wines.
Right. And maybe very knowledgeable about the local wines, but then when it comes to the wines of the world, it's just, I mean, look, it's a lot of money. You gotta be able to travel. You gotta be able to pay for those wines.
For me, the key is to get together with friends in Pure House, and everybody brings some good wines, and we get to taste great wines. But otherwise, I think you are fault if you don't go out and try to taste these wines.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's part of the passion.
It's the passion.
Is enjoying it.
So, and then even if you have a chance, to go visit, the properties. I mean, it gives you, when you go to Europe, you get a little bit more sense of these people that have property, they've been there for, in some cases 300, 400, 500, 600 years, like for example Pierantinori, or some of the property in Germany that have been there since the 1100. This is not a job for them, this is a way of living.
Right.
This is what they do, the family from father to father. So it's a big difference. The passion has to be there. Otherwise, if you just do it for the money, I don't think you're never gonna be good.
We're talking about the perfect wine. In my mind, some of the wines that I've had that have been perfect, recently I had 2015 Chateau Margaux. And it just struck me from nose to mouth, just the experience, the light bulb went on. And that was the opportunity for me to think about this idea of perfection. Because tasting thousands and thousands of wines, there are very few where the light bulb goes off. There's a number of ones where the eyebrow gets raised and you're like, something,
I agree.
Something exceptional.
There is certain wine that bring you something more, I think mentally. I don't know if it's a combination of balance and power and flavor and color and everything that is into the wine, but you immediately if you have enough experience in wine, you drink these wines, you start thinking, wow, how do you make wine like that?
Yeah.
You know, which is amazing experience. I think
It is.
it doesn't happen that often.
It's a
you know, you
spiritual.
taste a lot of good wines, and you know, it's fun. But when you get to taste this one like this, it'll change your view on winemaking. It's like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
What do they do that we can do? You know, it's just about the vineyards. It's not the winemaking. It's a combination of both. It's easy.
I see those. We remember those wines intimately because we see them as peak experiences. We experience them emotionally, and we remember them forever. They literally are life changing.
By the way, I wanted to tell you, when we're talking about, you know, the great wines, also other compelling wine that I taste, because I don't want to put the American wine out. I did taste some great wines from the 60s, the 50s and the 60s from Napa.
Really?
Including, you know, perhaps if you ever have a chance to taste, you know, 69 Chapelet, which I believe was made by Philippe Togny. Even the 70, I had the opportunity to do a vertical tasting. I think twice of Chapelet, like, you know, 25 years vertical, and that wine stuck to my mind. Some of the old Mayacamas from the 60s and the 70s.
Absolutely.
Some of the old BV, 58s, of course the 74 Martha's Vineyards, which is still one of the greatest wine I think ever made, and in California. There's another one that I never had the opportunity. It was a 41, I think, Inglenuc.
Wow.
That is supposed to be one of the greatest wine ever made, but I don't know if there is any
of that line around.
bottles, you know, somewhere, but I don't think is a common wine, you know, to find.
Maybe some of our collectors have some of those that they want to share.
Some of the whole Frimark Abbey, some of the old Mondavi, 78 Mondavi. I used to drink bottles after bottles when I used to pay, I think, $25 a bottle back in the day. And it was such a good wine, you know.
Wow.
The newer wines we don't know because there is not a lot of wine that have stand this kind of time, like 30, 40 years, 50 years.
Right.
So we don't know how they're gonna age. Of course, the style is different. Everybody has changed the style.
Right, the wines you're talking about were made in a much leaner, higher acid.
Yeah, and maybe that's why the
lower
wine that
alcohol.
lasted so long and they became better, you know, with age. Obviously, back in the day, you know, if you would have drunk a Mayacamas that was 4 years old, it would have been like a horror, you know. It's like, what do you think? One like this is so lean, so mineral.
Yeah.
You know, so. You know, now we used to make this plush wine with lots of flavor. You know, I think higher alcohol, much more forward style.
More sugar at harvest. for sure.
Don't know if the wine they're gonna age as long. I have doubts on that, but
Me too.
we'll see. We'll see what's happening in all this new area that we have, Santa Barbara, especially, and Paso Robles. They're relatively younger area. We'll see. You know, we tend to make the wine a little bit, you know, fuller body, much riper. So, you know, we'll see what happens. I know my wine that they've been, they've been in a bottle since 2005. So I drank some of the 2005. They're still holding. The biggest issue is, are they gonna be good? It doesn't matter if they age 25 years, but are they gonna be better?
Right.
Because as the wine peaks, then it's gonna stay there for a while, and then it's gonna go in decline. And you know, are they gonna be 10 years old wine where they still gonna drink good, and then they're slowly gonna decline, or they're gonna last 20, 25 years. So I don't have any that old yet, so I will let you know.
I don't know, I think I'm of two minds of this. And on the one hand, there's this reversion back to those old school styles of the 70s and 80s you're talking about in Napa. On the other hand, you look at even the great Bordeaux, most 95% of these wines are drunk within 5 to 10 years, max.
Yeah.
Probably 90% of them are drunk within 5 years. And I think the same holds true for a lot of Napa. I don't think there's that much aging going on.
No.
Most people buy wine to drink wine.
I think there has been, because of critics, because of wine magazine, there's been a swift towards wine slightly riper in the last 25 years, and then we went a little bit over, and then now some people are pulling back a little bit, and on the other hand, we don't want to also go into the insipid and 11% alcohol wine either.
Right.
At least from this area. I don't know, maybe some other area you can, but in our area, Santa Barbara, especially where I make wine, all my vineyards are warm vineyards, so you can make wine with that kind of alcohol. They will never be flavorful. They will never be good wine. They will be insipid.
So tell me, so you moved from Las Vegas how many years ago?
I moved here permanently in 2014.
So you had this experience of the wines of the world. You could have gone to Napa. You could have gone back to Italy to make wine. Why did you choose Santa Barbara?
Well, I mean, Napa was not a place. Napa has changed, dramatically, where the prices of the wine is now so high. There is no for regular consumer anymore. I think just the wealthy people can afford the majority of the wines there. So and it has changed, in different way. And I was coming out in Santa Barbara. I was the first sommelier to put a full page of Santa Barbara wine. So I had a lot of connections here. I think the wines are very good. We have lots of good areas here. From Santa Rita Hills, for Pinot Noir Chardonnay, to the valleys here where you can make a lot of very good Syrah and Grenache. Although I think that Syrah does extremely well, or even better than Pinot Noir in Santa Rita Hills, where you can make some compelling wines. Very much in the flavor profile that you get in the Northern Rhone.
We were just talking about this yesterday. We were tasting Pinot and Chard yesterday from 2018, just finished, and the conversation was, people know and recognize Santa Rita Hills for Pinot Noir. They talk about Pinot Noir because there's this elegance, there's a popularity to it, maybe still the hangover of that movie, Sideways.
Yes.
But what they really want is Syrah. They talk Pinot, but what they really want is the plush, lush fruit and weight of a Syrah.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's so hard to sell Syrah.
I base my business, with Syrah, so
you're doing quite well because you're selling out of your tasting room.
I say everything out of my tasting room now. I sold, most of wine in Vegas for 10 years, but the wholesale business is
broken.
Is a beast.
It's broken.
And it's not easy if you're a small producer. By the time you go and discount the wines, you do build back. If you do wine by the glass, it's hard to make money unless you sell thousands and thousands of cases. So it's not, my model is not going to be that. I'm going to try to do everything, direct to consumer. Right. I don't want to say that I'm never going to do wholesale again, but it's not going to be the majority of my business. It's going to be maybe a small part of my business. So I think we have an opportunity with the tasting room to have people coming and taste our wines, and those are critics. When you're small like us, we don't need really the wine spectator to give us a high rating, to sell the wine. And my critics are my customers.
That's right.
They come in, they like the wines, they buy the wines, they join the wine club, and makes my life easier.
It's the best validation you can get.
And I mean, we here for lifestyle, so we're not here necessarily for money. Everybody wants to make money, but that wasn't the main goal when I came here. It was totally different. It was a lifestyle change.
Let's talk about food.
Let's talk
so you
about
just came
food.
back from Italy.
I did. I spent.
Talk to me about eating in Italy. Talk to me about eating in California.
Well,
and
then
opinions.
I have to tell you that we have to talk about my vacation. I was eating. There was not much else.
It was a good time.
Spent we stayed in Rome, although we spent a few days in Tuscany. Went to Tuscany, ate in different places from Porto Santo Stefano to Montalcino to Castellino and Chianti. We spent a day or two in Siena, get some great restaurants there. And then those restaurants, they suggest that I go to these other restaurants in Castellino and Chianti, which are probably one of the best meals of my life.
Where?
In a place called Antica Torre. Great restaurant in Castellino and Chianti. And then, of course, in Rome, I got friends. The two differenza. Most of the time, we go Trastevere, which is the old part of Rome. And there is some, if you want to eat, if you want to eat well, you go with me and I'll take you some of this restaurant. You'll be satisfied when you finish.
I know those beautiful places right there in Trastevere.
It just the quality of the food. It was nothing. I didn't have anything that was complicated. It was just great ingredients. You know, doesn't take much when you have those ingredients. To make great food. And then the whole entire environment. You go in the restaurant. And all the Italian, they were going hard. They were eating, every course with dessert and, and coffee and amaro. They going to eat. They're gonna stay there for 3 hours. We actually spent 3 hours there. I was gonna go to see the famous Derek Cecchini in Panzano, the famous macellaio.
Yeah.
E viva la ciccia e chi la stropiccia. That's the place that we should go.
We will.
They make the famous Fiorentina. I don't know.
Steak.
You should Google it and or go on YouTube and look at his videos because it's hilarious. The guy is like a poet that sells meat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's been there for 250 years. His family selling meat.
I love it.
So I almost made it, but we were so full that we couldn't, there was only like another 3.5 hours before dinner, and they do a set dinner there at 7:30. You eat all together. There is no, you go and that's one seating, and you give you the meats, and that's it. You can only seat, 30 people. And
it's a family style, guaranteed.
I was so there was no way. I didn't eat for 24 hours after the restaurant. That's how much we ate. I had food coma.
And it's all just the fresh meat off the grill, right? It's
the one in Panzano is they do a lot of meats. They do steak tartare made with raw meat, obviously. There are all kinds of different cuts of meats, and I don't know if they do sausage. I'm sure they have everything, But the main dish is definitely bistecca alla Fiorentina, which is about this thick.
Wow.
On average, I think it's 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds.
Wow.
But they can go bigger than that.
So what about California? There's great food here in California.
I mean, California, I eat locally here in the area. We got great restaurant like, Industrial Eats and SY Kitchen. I just went for the first time at a restaurant called Amber, which is San Luis Obispo, and the food is great food I had there. So we have the restaurants here.
We have the produce. It's all.
We got the produce. We have smaller restaurants. So we also have flatbread. If you have some good pizza, some good flatbread. It's just where we live in Los Alamos, and other smaller place bakeries. We got stuff. It's interesting.
I think it's just the concentration, right? So Manhattan, San Francisco, LA, Chicago recognize the best cities in America to eat. And
I mean,
there's just so much competition, kind of like Rome. You talk about
there
Rome.
there is a difference. Is a difference. If you had the opportunity. I mean, I worked in Vegas. I, dinners, some of the greatest restaurants there.
Right.
But if you give me the choice, I would still go to eat in Italy, anytime. I'll be very satisfied.
Yeah.
It's like we actually eat.
Yeah.
So, but you know, nevertheless, I can say, you know, I went to French Laundry, you know, a few times. You know, Danielle, the other restaurant that we have so many, you know, Michelin star rated restaurant in Vegas. I worked in one of it, Alex restaurant at the Wynn. It was 2 Michelin star. I mean, these guys are amazing what they do. But it's a different type of experience. I think it's more of a culinary experience, you know, sitting down and tasting and go through this menu with all these courses. When we go to Italy, we just had a good time, just ate well, you know.
Yeah.
So
It's much more simple.
it's different, you know.
It's simple ingredients
Yeah.
and beautiful because of its simplicity.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Paolo.
You're welcome.
Awesome.